Hello again, it's your storyteller Nana, and I'm here to tell you another story today, again from a land far, far away and from a distant time. This story is called The Three Dolls, and it has no author that is noted, but we do know that it comes from a land which used to be called Persia, but is now called Iran. And I'll try and show you the background kind of messes with my globe here, but I found if I put it right in front of my face, you can see it better. So let's see, hard to see it. Okay, so here is Africa, and here is Asia, and Iran is in the Middle East. Middle, okay? And if you wanted to go from the United States to Iran, oh my goodness, let's see. Here's the United States. You'd have to go all the way across the Atlantic Ocean and fly across the topmost part of Africa to get to Iran. Far away. Different cultures. So when Nana tells a story in a classroom, she likes to wear a hat. The hat is a good clue to my listeners that I'm prepared to start my story and that your listening ears should be on and your voices should be off. So I will start now the story of the Three Dolls. The Sultan of Persia was a very clever man. He was very well read, and he liked few things better than a puzzle or a problem or a riddle. He was happiest when he was trying to solve them. One day, as he was sitting in his throne room, a package arrived. He knew not from whom. And he opened up the box, he opened up the package, and inside was a box. And he opened up the box, and inside that box were three beautiful wooden dolls. And as he looked at them, he picked each one up, and he admired the craftsmanship and the beauty. And he noticed that all three looked exactly alike. Inside the box was a note as well. The note said, "Tell these three dolls apart." Well, when the Sultan saw that note, he was happy. Here was a puzzle to be solved. He said, a challenge to tell these dolls apart. And then he picked up each one and he examined it, and he noted that, the faces were carved just so beautifully, and the clothes that they were wearing were of the most colorful, beautiful silk. But they all looked exactly alike. And then he thought, well, maybe they're hollow inside. And so he picked up the first one, and he shook it by his ear, and then he picked up the next one, and he shook that one, and then he picked up the third, and he shook that one, and they were all just the same. Then he thought, perhaps they'll smell different. And so he picked up each one, he smelled it, and smelled the next one and the third one. And he smelled the most beautiful smell of sandalwood. But they all smelled the same. Even the grain of wood was the same for these dolls. The Sultan was stumped. He didn't know what to do next. Then he looked across his throne room, and he saw a man that he considered to be the smartest man in his kingdom. He spent almost all his time in the library, and if there was something that was needed to be known, he seemed to know it. The Sultan called him the scholar. So he called the scholar over. "Come, scholar, take a look at these dolls and tell me if you can see what the difference is." Well, the scholar picked up each doll and examined it, and he shook them, and he smelled them. He even licked them. But they all were the same. He shook his head and walked quietly away. Just then, the door to the throne room burst open, and in tumbled the court jester. He was doing somersaults and flips into the room, and then he noticed the dolls. Well, he stopped, and he immediately started juggling them. "Ha ha!" he said as he juggled them. And then he got bored and put them down and walked away. Well, the Sultan wasn't sure what to do. So then he called up his storyteller, and he said, "Storyteller, can you tell these dolls apart?" Well, the storyteller looked at each one and saw that they were all carved identically and all dressed identically. And they smelled the same, they looked the same, they even tasted the same. Before the Sultan realized what was happening, the storyteller reached out and plucked one of the Sultan's long beard, straight beard hairs out of his beard. And she took the first doll, and she noticed that there was a hole in the doll's, where the doll's ear was. So she put that hair, that long hair, into the ear, and it went in and in and in, and it didn't come out. It just went all the way in. And the storyteller thought about it, and then she said, "Well, this doll represents the scholar, because everything that goes in his head stays in there, and he becomes smarter and more." And then quickly she reached forward and she plucked another hair out of the Sultan's beard, long straight hair. She took the second doll and she put that hair into the second doll's ear, and it went in, and then it started coming out the other side. She thought for a moment, and she said, "Oh, I know. This doll represents the jester, because everything that goes in one ear comes out the other, and he is no smarter." And finally, she reaches forward, the storyteller reaches forward and plucks this third long straight hair out of the Sultan's beard, and ow, he says, "Stop it." She takes that third doll and she puts the hair into the doll's ear, and it goes in, and then it starts coming out the mouth of this doll. And as it's coming out, it's no longer straight, it's all curled. The storyteller thought about it for a moment. She said, "I think that this doll represents the storyteller, because everything that goes in is thought about and worked on, and then comes out of the storyteller's mouth a little bit differently than the way it went in." And that's true of all storytellers. They take in the story and they make it their own and share it with you. And that is the end of the three dolls. Thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the story. I hope that you will be able to share it with someone that you care about. And thanks for joining. Have a great day. Bye.